everybody, it's Eric here at DB with your weekly lesson video. I'll try and pick that up a little bit. So today your lesson idea actually comes from Sandy last night. We were discussing in her lesson people talk about where's the magic in changing chords. And I said there is no magic. And unfortunately there isn't any. But that doesn't mean that there aren't better, more efficient, or smarter ways to work on your chord changes. And that's what we're going to cover today. So we're going to take a couple really common chords. We're going to take G, C, and D, and E minor, just because those are sort of like 4 of the 5 that every website tells you need to know in order to be able to play 9,000 million trillion songs. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a couple practice techniques for working on your chord changes. One of the biggest reasons why people struggle with getting them done faster is that they don't actually light a fire under themselves to get to them any faster. They allow themselves to go, we'll get rid of that distortion. They allow themselves to be like, even if they know the song. So if I'm doing like Horse with No Name, they might go, running through the desert, horse with no name, and it'll allow that pause. So I'm going to show you a couple quick ones to work on getting rid of that. So the first one is just keep strumming. Just like Dory says, just keep swimming. And what I mean by that is that I want you to try practicing your chord changes, no matter how long they take or how bad they may sound, by keeping your strumming going. So even if it sounds like this, and those chords don't sound good at all, you're still trying to make the change in time. And what will happen is your brain will say, hey, that wasn't a very good change. You need to make those fingers move a little bit faster. And every time that happens and you go through it again, your fingers will move that little bit faster because they want to, your brain and your muscles are saying, I want to make that sound good. So that's one exercise you can do. The other is, I'm going to tell you that you are going to give yourself a pause between the chords, but you're going to do it in a specific amount of time. So what I mean by that is, let's say we want to go G, D, E minor, C. I'm going to tell you that this time around you're going to do it with a 4 count in between each chord. So let's say my strum is this fast. That means our count is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do a 4 count between each chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you can make those chord changes at 4, you're going to move it to 3. So same strum. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then same thing with 2. So I'll do this real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then with 1 count. 1. 1. 1. 1. So counting down, giving yourself a 4 count, 3 count, 2 count, 1 count between your chord changes is your next exercise. And then lastly, the tip I'm going to add to this is that if you want to get your hands in good positions, good techniques, and good sounding chords, here are 2 things you're going to want to do. A lot of people you see when they start, and you probably remember this, your guitar was laying like this when you try to play because you want to see your fretboard. Well, the problem is that when you do that, your fingers lay flat on the strings like that. And it's hard to get them around anything when they're laying flat like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get you to upright the guitar so it's in nice and snug, more like that. Put your fingers like that around the strings. That will allow you on chords like C to not block out those high notes. Same with D. You These are very important notes in the chord. The other tip in making your chords is you're going to, whenever you change a chord, I want you to think about building the new chord from the top down. Okay, and what I mean is from the highest note in the chord, or the lowest sounding note in the chord, to the highest sounding note in the chord. So I'm going to make a G. I'm actually going to start with the second finger and build the chord down like that. So you'll see me go 1 or 2, 1, 3, 4. If I'm going to make a C chord, you'll see the third finger make its move to the top first, and then everything else falls behind it. So my G, my C. And if you look real close, you'll see that top finger go down first, and everything else follows in behind. Even D, E minor, if I do an A, if I do a bar chord, it's always that top finger. So, again, no magic. It's just good practice, and then a couple good things you can do in your practice to make those chord changes faster. It all comes down to you pushing yourself to do it. So one is just keep strumming. No matter how bad the chord change sounds, strum through it. Your brain and your fingers will eventually start to work together to make that sound better because they want it to. Your number 2 practice thing is to give yourself a specific amount of time between each chord. So start with a 4 count at the speed you're playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on. Then work yourself down to 3 count, 2 count, 1 count, no count. And then your 2 big tips for your chords are to remember to keep your guitar up nice and tight up against you. Don't let it slouch down like that. So you can keep your fingers around the strings. And then also remember to build those chords from the top down. So that means the highest note on your guitar, highest finger on your guitar, start there and work your way down. Hopefully these tips will help you get your chord changing along, because I know how frustrating it can be when you just want to play that song and you're stuck on every chord, and I want to help you get past that. So again, you thank Sandy for that one. That was her idea, and hopefully you guys will get to practice it all over the weekend and make some of those chord changes start to make some big leaps and bounds. Good luck and happy practicing.